Good morning and welcome to our daily devotions. This morning I'd like to look at the topic of God being loving and God being strong. And I'd like to start off our time this morning together with reading from Ephesians 3 and starting from verse 17. And it says, "And I pray that Christ will be more and more at home in your hearts as you trust in him. May your roots go down deep into the soil of God's marvelous love. And may you have the power to understand, as all God's people should, how wide, how long, how high, and how deep his love really is. May you experience the love of Christ. Though it is so great, you will never fully understand it. Then you will be filled with the fullness of life and power that comes from God." And so when Paul is speaking here, he is telling us that God's love is total. When he speaks about how wide it is, it covers the breadth of our situations. How long it is, it stretches across the length of our lives. It is forever. That is how long it is. And then he speaks about the height of it, and it rises to all those situations that we are joyful and that we celebrate in, and our happy moments. It is deep, and it reaches down to those times when we are full of despair, when we have lost hope, when we are sad. As we understand what Paul is saying, that actually God's love surrounds us. It is something that we can't escape. It is such an incredible hope that we have, that we can't escape his love, because it is just too high, too wide, too long. It surrounds our entire life. It surrounds all of us. And we are never lost to God's love, which is such an incredible hope in our lives. And as we are surrounded by God's love, it gives us a sense of security, that we are surrounded and that we can't escape it. And as the verse continues to say, that as we are filled with this love, and as we experience this love that surrounds us, we are then able to experience the fullness of God and the power that comes from God. We have a fulfillment in our lives. I remember as a child being hugged by my dad, and he would hug me, and his strong arms would surround me, maybe when I was having a bad day or I just needed some love, and I knew that I was safe in that space. And it's exactly the same, that when we experience God's love that we can't escape, it's like a father's arms that come around us and give us that security. And in that father's loving arms, we experience the strength. And I found such a lovely quote that says, "God's love is strong and God's strength is love." There were a couple of people praying for me recently, and one of the things that really stood out that one of the people prayed was that for God to show me his incredible power. And I remember walking away from that prayer wondering how God was going to do that. He did it by giving me such an incredible understanding of his grace. God's grace, when he sent Jesus Christ to die on a cross for you and for me, that showed the incredible love of God. And I saw God's power, and I saw God's strength, and I saw God's love as he revealed the incredible gift of Jesus Christ to you and me. So we can live lives that are based on the love of Jesus Christ. And God sent Jesus to you and me to express that love and to express that power in the most incredible way. That even this verse that we read in the beginning from Ephesians says we won't even be able to understand how incredible it is. But that Jesus Christ died for you and for me. And as we find that solid foundation in his love, we are strengthened. We are strengthened in our lives by his strength, by his love, for every single circumstance that life throws at us. I'd like to end our time this morning by reading from Psalm 62, verses 11 and 12. "God has spoken plainly, and I've heard it many times. Power, O God, belongs to you. Unfailing love, O Lord, is yours." And so I would like to encourage you this morning to have an incredible day, just having a new revelation and a new understanding of the power of God and his incredible love.